nobody. I think I'm getting tired of social media, but I also cannot let it go. That was something that I wrote in the back of today's episode notes. Let me just say, welcome to Dear Nobody. I'm your host, Sally Yapto, and this is the very first episode, and it's called Love and Hate Relationship with Social Media. I got into social media when I was very little, probably in elementary school. Since I'm a Gen Z, social media is very inevitable. I've always been having social media ever since I was a little girl. Like when we had Blackberries in our hands and that became iPods and then it that became iPhones, iPads, MacBook and everything else that we have right now. And now boom, we're adults. Well, we're like young adults now, but I'm sure a lot of my peers and a lot of my friends, they're all experienced early childhood with social media. Back then, I remember I used to love posting. I used to just post anything that I like. I was this little girl in elementary school, and I would just post like back then Tumblr was a huge hit and everyone was having this kind of filter, like this retro 90s pink, magenta, purplish, vintage looking pictures. Those days, I did not think of literally anything in my life. So I would just post something that I like, and most of the time that works out. I didn't really think about what I should post, and my friends back then, they were all very supportive of me. And so every single time I post something in Instagram, everyone would say like, "Oh my god, that's so cute," or like, "Oh my god, that suits you," or something like that. They're always supporting and they're always encouraging me to post more and more. So I didn't really think much when I post something, but I do want to become like an Instagrammer back then, which is funny that I think about it because nowadays it seems like our life are being dictated by social media, and that creates a lot of good and bad things. I am very fortunate to live in this period where we have social media and it makes things so much easier. To be completely honest with you, social media actually is making our lives like way easier because we can grasp a lot of different things in the palm of our hands. Like literally you can find anything you'd like in Google now. And now we have AI. Isn't it so crazy how fast things can grow? This technology that we live in, just in a blink of an eye. We're living in such a fast paced kind of like production in our lives that we have to keep on creating, we have to keep on growing, and we essentially have to grow in a sense of like where people would approve of you. And that's where things can get messy and things can get really toxic. As I was saying before, this generation, like right now, we really need social media because that's how we live in right now. We have to get social media for our business, getting your works out in the world. Like, I'm a pianist. Sometimes I do need to post things outside, like to promote if I have an event or promote if I'm doing a concert somewhere or something. It's a basic necessity to have a social media right now. Just to do like basic stuff like networking and promoting yourself for the greater good of your career and stuff like that. So I feel at this moment in our life, we cannot really be anonymous and be mysterious. I still remember when I was little, sometimes I would watch a movie and then there's this like, the cool girl that's like mysterious. They're very popular, but not in a queen bee kind of way, but popular in a sense of, whoa, she's very cool, very
poised, charismatic, even though she's like hidden. That popular but hidden kind of girl that no one really knows what you're doing, no one really knows who you are. Oh my god, I remember back then I really wanted to be those type of people. But then something in social media that really grasped my attention. I was a people pleaser. I think that's something that I never really talked about back then. I know I said a lot of times that I don't really think about what other people think of me when I was little, but there's something that is going on like chemically inside your brain that you feel good when other people are commenting really nice things and they're complimenting you for whatever you're posting. There's just something in my brain that feels good about that. Essentially, reading those kind of comments really boost my confidence. And also, I feel like I need the reassurance when I was little. I don't know. It was something that I had back then, but thankfully, not anymore. I mean, yeah, people complimenting you. It's always nice to receive them. Not gonna lie, I don't think anyone would have a problem with someone complimenting them. So it's really nice to hear that. But again, you don't want that to be the rule of thumb of your life. Like, you don't want to live your life based on other people's opinion about you. So now I'm gonna talk about what I love from social media. And I've written down here 5 things that I love with social media. The first one is discovering new people and new ideas. This is very helpful, especially nowadays. We have to look outside of the box. It's always a good idea to have something and brainstorm new ideas outside of the box, because right now it seems like everyone has the same kind of ideas, the same kind of approach to things. So, discovering a new way to think about things and to learn about new people and societies outside of your circle is very, very good and refreshing. And then, number two is to connect with people. You know how back then our parents would always brag about how hard it is to communicate with people because they have to mail each other, and you know how mailing can take a long time. Like, it can take months. Example, I'm from Indonesia. When you send that letter out from Indonesia and let's say to America, that would take ages. Like months. I don't know, probably even a year, like a long time ago, to get it delivered to the recipient. So imagine how long that can be. And then imagine if that person that you're contacting with, they're just like, I don't know, passed away or gone. You have absolutely no idea with what that person is doing at that current exact moment. Like, example, if they have passed away, you wouldn't get any replies and you would think like, oh my god, they're ghosting me. Did I do something wrong? So I bet there's a lot of miscommunications back then, because once you receive that mail from someone, I'm pretty sure life has changed dramatically. Like, imagine if you say, "Hi, how are you?" to someone, and then, I don't know, 6 months later, they got it. It's just, you have passed 6 months without knowing how that person was doing. I don't know. It's something that you really need to think about. You cannot really know what's happening in their life at that exact moment. And if you have a friend that changes apartment number or changes address and moved away to somewhere brand new that you never knew about it, you kept on sending letters to that previous address, but it's no longer valid because they're no longer living there. Like, you wouldn't know because a single letter takes months to deliver. So, yeah, I love social media because it made it so much easier to connect with people. and it just made life so much easier too. Get to know new people. If you're sick with your current circle and friendships that you have in your life right now, you can always find someone new in social media. But you have to be really smart about it because there are some sketchy and creepy people out there. So you still have to put a guard and be smart about it. And then the third one that I wrote here is finding entertainment. In today's world, I don't ever think we could be bored because there's just plenty, like tons and billions of content out there in the world in all social media platforms. You find it in TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Well, Spotify is not really a social media, but finding entertainment has never been more easy right now than ever before. You can just scroll in your For You page and your Explore page and see new stuff. Sometimes it can automatically brightens your day if it's like funny or if it's something that aligns with your humor, which is good. So that's what I like, finding entertainments that truly relate with you. And sometimes when you're sad or when you're dealing with hard parts of your life and you got this quotes that really resonates you in those times, it really made you feel less alone. And the last point that I want to share from this category is the joy of sharing and creating something that someone actually resonates. This was following up the previous comment that I said that you find entertainment that resonates with you. Being a creator that is able to put something out there and make the viewers feel relatable and finding it very funny or totally resonates with whatever you're posting, it's such a joy. I truly cannot point out how amazing that feels like. Okay, so background story. I've been posting on my Instagram or my TikTok, but mainly on Instagram. For TikTok, it's more like informal. I didn't really curate it as I would in my Instagram. For Instagram, I really think about it in more professional way. I don't know why. It's just the nature of it. Sometimes I get those comments where like they say, "Oh my god, this is so funny. Like this is so relatable." I get so happy. It became like a shot of coffee in my life or in my day. It seems like it's so surface level kind of thing, but I truly appreciate people who went in their way to comment nice things on my videos and to like my post because I work really hard on them. The thing about content creators is that sometimes people think that their job is the easiest jobs in the world. In some cases, if you're just reusing someone else's ideas, yeah, that can be the easiest job in the whole world. That could be the case. But some content creators, they really give it all. Have you seen those transition makeup videos? They have put in so many hours and so many costumes. They're amazing. Every single second they put on makeup, more makeup, and then different kind of hair and different kind of outfit and stuff. And that's not included with their editing process, picking out good footages. Being a content creator, we have to constantly create and constantly shoot something like behind the scenes. People don't really think about it as much because they thought that like, oh, their job is like what? Only making videos. But behind those videos, even if it's like 15 seconds, they have put a lot of effort in it. Example like me doing this podcast. Like, do you think that I got it all together by the first take? Obviously, no. Like, I had to redo the stuff that I said and then make an adjustment because probably I thought the flow is not really good in this moment. And then I'm still trying and constantly trying to be better and better. And those stuff cannot just come to you right away. Practice makes perfect, where in this case is practice makes better because once you experience those stuff more and more, you get to build a habit out of it. And that's where everything gets easier and it flows better. It becomes more natural to you. Some people ask me, how did you edit this so fast? Sometimes when I edit stuff, I could completed it in under 10 minutes or even under 5 minutes. And I would always say to them that it's all practice, like what we were saying before. Practice makes better, and the more you do it, the more you know. And it's like your brain knows automatically on what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say. Some people are also very, very perfectionist, and I totally get that because sometimes I am and I try not to, but we'll talk about it this like later on in the future. So that was kind of like a long section of why I love social media. Now we get into the juicier part, which is why I hate social media. Number one is being judged on the cover. When you're in social media, it's bound to happen. At first, they would judge you for being cringe, and then they would judge you for acting like you're someone famous because you are always posting. People will always have something to say. Number two is that seeing your social media as a success. Like the more followers you have is the more successful you are in life, which is so not true. That's one of the biggest things that I hate from social media because once people see, like, oh, you have X amount of followers, you're famous, and suddenly they all want to become your friends. It's so surface level. They don't believe in you when you have 50 or 100 followers. They would think of you like, she's so cringe. Why is she doing this? She's so embarrassing, blah blah blah. I know for a fact that some of my friends think of me that way. And some of my friends might think of me as like, wow, she's so brave to post her stuff and content. I wish I could have that kind of bravery. I wish I don't really think about what others thinks of me. Sometimes I get those comments too from my friends, and those positive comments really boost me up. Okay, on to the next one. I hate social media because it takes so much time. It's very distracting. Like once you open your Instagram or TikTok or wherever you are in the social media, you cannot seem to have a break on those things. It's like going to a rabbit hole. You're never ever gonna stop scrolling on your device. What I think though is that when it comes to scrolling, your brain just automatically sets into this auto mode where you're not thinking of anything, then just scrolling with your thumb, like doing that motion. I'm not an expert for this, but I think your brain suddenly knows that you can turn off your brain and not thinking about anything else other than doing that motion. I might be wrong. I'm not an expert, but that's what I think. Because sometimes I would scroll and scroll, and I wouldn't realize that it's already 5 a.m. and I haven't slept. That's why I kind of stopped posting things on my social media because once I open them, it's suddenly like I have this addiction that I've never encountered before that I'm not gonna ever stop scrolling. Now, in the present moment, right now, I do have a greater sense of boundaries between my reality and social media relationship. You have to practice sensing these red flags that the social media is giving you because they are slowly eating you away emotionally and mentally. So once notice something is toxic for me, I just completely stop right away. I close the app. Like, I kid you not, whenever I don't use any social media at all, I feel like a brand new person. I feel so much freer and liberating. Suddenly, my world is in Technicolor. Because you're not on your phone 24/7 and you're not scrolling. Like that mindless scrolling is what's putting you away from all of your success. Anyway, moving on to the next point. Number 4. Peer pressure from other creators and having to always create or curate something for people. Sometimes peer pressure is good. It drives you in a good way. But I'm talking about where it gets to a point where every single time I look at my Instagram and YouTube and whatever it is, I would always think that my friends are doing these great things because they are posting stuff and I'm not posting anything. I'm not creating anything. And that made me feel so bad of myself. I feel every eyes are on me and waiting for me to post something. Because if I'm not posting something, that means I'm not doing anything. Like, that is so not true. Those kind of negative peer pressure that I think I'm projecting it to myself. Like, literally, no one is saying things for me to post more and stuff. Like, your friends are posting these stuff and you're not posting anything. Like, literally, no one tells me that. But it's the way I talk to myself with this peer pressure thing that I was having a struggle with. So it was kind of toxic for me and it drove me insane at a certain point in my life. So that's why I kind of took a break from social media and this content creator things because the way I speak to myself wasn't healthy. But people are very nice though. Like sometimes, even though they just knew me, they would say that they really enjoyed my content and really sweet things to me, which I truly appreciate. It's really heartwarming and it gives me hope. Probably in the future, I will continue the social media aspect, but I just want to make sure that when I approach this in the future, I want to clearly make sure I wouldn't get into this rabbit hole again because it's not fun. I really don't like it. And currently, I am in my healthy spot mentally, so I'm not gonna ruin that just for social media. So I will make sure before I get into that intense social media life again, I just want to make sure that I'm setting the space really well with me coming in. All of this love and hate situationship I have with social media, it got me overthink very much and it made me so anxious. My anxiety has never been on the roof. It could be because of COVID, because I realized that like after COVID, people tend to be on the more anxious type rather than before COVID. But it made me feel like I'm living on a transparent plastic life where anyone, like literally anyone, strangers, can watch any steps that I take in my life. And that lead me into like this paranoid life. There was a time where I was so paranoid, I completely went like MIA, missing in action. It was not healthy to be this paranoid because I was thinking that someone might know where I live and then I was just freaking the hell out because I was so scared that someone might follow me home. That's how bad it made me feel. Security and privacy is one of the biggest things that you have to have no matter what you're doing in life. You have to have that. I think this is something that I'm still practicing and it's never like perfect because I used to do this content creation thing and I would literally record every little stuff like vlogs. I really like the idea of me documenting every single thing and then posting it out in the world. But now I know some of those things are not for me. because they would make me feel more anxious and more paranoid. So now I know better about what are the things that is better to keep it private and what are the things that I would want to share with the whole world that won't give me any feeling of paranoia or anxiety. I know sometimes I would have like an itch of a YOLO moment where I feel like if I don't post it right now, I wouldn't have any other chance to post it, which in some cases it is true, but in some cases it also blurs out the line of privacy and boundaries because it's very easy to overstep that line. And once you overstep that line of privacy, it's really hard to get yourself out of it. And I feel in this generation nowadays, we have to go through with the social media path. Like, you have to have this in mind that posting everything might not be the greatest thing ever. Take it from me. Don't ever go through what I've been through. I mean, I really don't want you to go through that. I would advise you that not everything that you post is a good thing. Not everything will cause you the greater good. Just because I have experienced this doesn't mean that you would too. But always keep in mind that having privacy and having security is something that you will need in, in your life. Life has become so much easier and way calmer. I don't feel those anxiety anymore because I'm kind of off the grid, and sometimes if I post, then it's something that I want, like it's something that doesn't give me any red flags of like those uneasy butterflies moments. So if you want to post something and you're feeling uneasy with it, I suggest just wait until in the future or like when the time passes, because no one ever tell you to post things right away. Like you can wait 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. I don't know how long, but you can still post them in the future and like saying throwback or something. Sometimes life is so much easier when you are the mysterious girl because no one knows what you're doing, no one knows where you are, no one can creeps out behind you and shock you in the face. Like, you know what I mean? Some of this made me realize that sharing has become a pressure sometimes. It's more of a deadline rather than something that I enjoy to post, rather than something that I would like to express myself to the world and that would make me feel better. And that is something that's worth noticing. I want to change. I want to change my life. I don't want to be in this toxic realm that's hovering over my life. So I shift things. I change my perspective in some of the things that I have written down. Like example, in the hate section, I said that someone is always going to judge you no matter what. I turned that statement into a positive way. Whereas before I was like, oh my God, someone is going to judge. Oh my God, I don't like that. So I turned that into something completely different and think of it as like someone is going to judge me anyway. Like, why would I stop doing the things that I want to do? People are gonna judge no matter what. Even if you're Taylor Swift or you're Sabrina Carpenter, people are always going to have something to talk about you. You cannot control what other people thinks of you, but what you can control is that how you think about things. Like for example, I really like Taylor Swift. I think she's a genius when it comes to songwriting and storytelling. I'm just name dropping Taylor Swift because she is a legend. But some other people would disagree with me because I don't know, they have their own reasons. No matter how hard I try, I cannot convince them that she's a good songwriter if they already thought of it very differently. So it is out of my control, and I don't want to really put my energy into it. People are going to judge you. So it's better trying and be judged rather than not trying at all and be judged. That's something that I always have in the back of my mind when I'm afraid of being judged.
Of course, I'm not always like, I don't really care about what people think. Sometimes I would also get that feeling of scared of being judged. But if they want to judge you, let them be.
Just do whatever you want to do. It's your life, and no one can dictate your life at all. You can be under someone's rules, but do you really want to live your life like that? I don't really think so. So, yeah, when it comes to social media, I feel like you have to keep a good boundaries. Whether it's your private life and your social media life, you have to keep on trying what's good for you and what works and what doesn't. If you keep on pressing yourself to post something that don't bring peacefulness in you, you really have to rethink about that action, because what's the good in sharing stuff that you don't feel nice about it?
If you don't feel any peacefulness or happiness with you posting that, please take a step back and ask yourself why. Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, if you don't want to share it, then don't. But if you do really want to share it and you think that it would give you so much relief, then go for it. Something that really works for me is to be offline from the whole world and just be alone. I feel like when you step back and see the bigger picture outside social media, only then you can hear your own voice and feel the fresh air outside of this whole mess. It's like essentially creating a safe space just for you to breathe and look at the bigger picture in life. Like, remind yourself that there are so many things that are way more important and bigger than social media, than those followers, than those trivial stuff, like, for example, materialistic things that we see all over social media that's being used by influencers. Sometimes we cannot help but think and wonder, what if we actually have those things? Would I be happy? I think in a way it will make you happy, but it's gonna be a temporary happiness. It's not gonna be something for the long run. Like, sure, if you buy it with your hard work money and you feel very proud that, wow, I actually bought this thing with my own money, if that's the case, then it's good because it's gonna be a reminder for you in the future. Like, wow, I actually got this with my hard work money and I wanna strive for more. I want to buy myself nice things, therefore, I have to work hard. In that kind of sense, you are putting yourself in a good motivation. I know it's external motivation, but it is something that motivates you still. So if that works for you, then do that. But if that's not the case, you just buy things just because of trend or like just because you see it online, I don't think that's going to be a long-term happiness. So I think when it comes to materialistic stuff, you don't actually need to get those things. They don't define who you are. There's just more to life than social media. So to wrap things up, I just want to say, don't let the world dictate how you do your life or how you perceive your life, because in the end, it's your life and you have choices to build your own life. Don't let social media clouded your judgment. Find out who you are behind those social media stuff and always stand to your beliefs. If you need time offline, then do that. And if you need to be alone to think through life and what are the things that work for you, do that. Normalize being alone and not being online all the time.
It's just not worth your mental space. So, yeah, that's it for today's episode. I hope this brings you a different kind of light in your life. And remember, these are the things that helped me throughout my journey with social media. And probably some of the things that I find it helpful might not be applicable to you, and that's okay. You just need to do trial and errors, and practice makes better. So you gotta know yourself better to know the things that works for you. If you like this episode, let me know in the comments, and you can always find me on Instagram at Dear Nobody Podcasts. I post some quotes there or like some relatable stuff. If you want to watch the audio waveform and captions, it's only gonna be in my YouTube channel, Sally Yapto. And if you wanna follow me personally on my Instagram, it's gonna be at Sally Yapto. I'll be posting every Thursday, so come and hang out with me. I'll always be here. I also have a form that you can fill in, like a letter to me. It's gonna be anonymous. If you wanna rant or if you wanna suggest me any topics or to share your experience in life, you can send me that letter. It's gonna be in Dear Nobody Podcast Instagram bio. Once again, it's all gonna be anonymous, so I would not know who sent that because that's the whole idea of this podcast is to as if you're talking to no one, you're talking in your journal and you just want to let things out of your system. So, yeah, don't be afraid to send me that letter. And I just want to say thank you for listening and hanging out with me today for the very first episode of Dear Nobody. And I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.